Hello, I am Kumari Kriti Raj, and I am here to talk about UGC English Literature. I have completed my master's from Central University of Jharkhand, and I've completed my graduation from Patna University. And I have also qualified the exam for which I am giving the lecture, that is UGC NET English Literature. Since it was all a self study, so I know how to conduct a class as well as how to go with a study plan. So I think you should consider me, because not just because I have qualified the exam, but I have a very vast knowledge of all the syllabus, whether it is related to the history, to the present scenario of literature, and how it is intertext. If we will analyze the exam, that is net itself, then it generally has the 50% of question from theories and criticism, and which I am very expert of. The second thing is that the interaction between a student and teacher should be there. People feel that online classes cannot fulfill that space, but as a student of an offline classes as well as an online class, I can feel that the interaction is definitely there. From the university from which I come, has filled all the spaces. And as an experienced writer of 4 years as a content writer, I know that how to interact with not just the work colleague but also to the student, which I have gained in past few experience as a teacher, as a content writer. And I think note making is one of the benefit for me, where I can really go with expert note making, which is really required for the presentation while giving it to the students. So, when it comes to dividing my subject into 100 hours, the study plan that I have, then I have first I went with British literature, which is considered as the pillar of the whole scenario here. Why pillar of a whole scenario? Because it concludes everything, like whether it is related to Indian literature, whether it is related to American, even the theory and criticism, it is all British literature. And it is also important because it has all the main era present in it, the Elizabethan era, the Jacobean, and we should also consider the Romantic, where Wordsworth and Shelley, the great writers, are there. And the next is modern and postmodern, which I will give 5 hours because it is just the two eras. So I think 5 hours is enough. Why? Because if we will look at the present scenario of the NET exam, whether it's GRF or for the assistant professor, they have asked the questions of modern and postmodern in bulk. At least 10 questions, 10 to 15 questions are fixed out of 100. So I think it's a very important pillar. The next one is literary theories. I feel like literary theories is very important, not just to have it in the syllabus, but also to understand the text itself, to the writer itself, how we analyze it. And it is a very prominent part in research criteria, because people generally do net to become a professor or to get enrolled in PhD, and that's the reason why research is a very vital process, where literary theories, criticism, and cultural studies all are the pillars. The next one is criticism. Criticism is important whether we go with the BC areas or the AD, where Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, and then coming back again to the Johnson, then I.A. Richards, F.R. Lewis, all these writers are very prominent even in the present scenario, and that's the reason why NET has asked the questions again and again. For example, this time we have seen that how F.R. Lewis, how Derrida, these are the writers who were really prominent, and questions were asked like in bulk. Then comes the cultural studies. Cultural studies is very important. Why? Because there are many enormous writers who became the pillar of literature itself in the cultural studies, and I think 5 hours is really enough, where we can also do a quick revision related to the previous questions and also to the expectations what we can go with in cultural studies. Coming the next is post-colonial, in which a part of Indian literature also includes like Salman Rushdie or Arundhati Roy or even Gayatri Spivak. one of the prominent. So it's not post-colonial, it's post-colonial. And I will give 5 hours, which also include other writers like Margaret Atwood, the Canadian writer, and other parts like African. If we will go, then we have Chinua Achebe, we have Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who was also a feminist, who also comes in theories as well. Then we have American literature. American literature is important, but because we have seen great writers like Robert Frost, we have seen great writers like Mark Twain itself. So there are poets, there are also prose writers who are the pillar of literature itself, not just the history, but even in the present scenario, we can go with it. Coming is the Indian literature. People used to avoid Indian literature in previous examination of NET, but NET has totally changed the criteria where we are getting Indian literature in bulk. The same is happening with the genres like drama, poetry, and prose, where we will look upon each writers who are very prominent in drama. For drama, we'll go with the Shakespeare, starting with the Shakespeare and university wits. Then comes the poetries, whether it is romantic, even in the current scenario, some Indian writers who are very good at poetries like Toru Dutt and Kamla Das, and even the writers like William Wordsworth Shelley from the ancient time. Prose is again important because novel is a very important genre, not just for the reading but also for the criticism and theories. Then coming is the literary devices, Booker Prize and the Nobel Prize writers, because it is very important. Like 5 to 6 questions is definitely there if we'll include both the shift related to the literary devices and Booker and Nobel. Even in this examination there were 5 to 6 questions which were asked. So I guess 5 hours is enough. Coming back to the point from which I will start is the British literature, for which I'm giving 20 hours out of 100. So starting is the Elizabethan age. Now people think that why I have left Chaucer. I'm not going to leave Chaucer. I will deal it later on. But I'm starting the Elizabeth because monarchy is a thing and drama is a thing apart from Shakespeare himself. People consider that Shakespeare is a father of literature, but he is not. But he is a very great figure which everyone, whether one is a literature student or not, it's definitely there. So I'll start with the age itself, where I will deal with the monarchy, I'll deal with the genre of drama, morality plays, miracle and mystery plays. These three places are actually the wheel of the whole drama scenario: morality, miracle, mystery. And then I'll also go with the interludes, which will include the first ever tragedy, Gorboduc, first ever comedy, first ever domestic writing which we will get. Coming is the first writer is Edmund Spenser. Shakespeare was himself very influenced by Edmund Spenser, Philip Sidney, university wits, William Shakespeare. We cannot forget about the 37 plays he has written and the sonnets. The sonnets of Shakespeare is also very well known, which he was dedicated to W.H. and to the Dark Lady. And then is the quick revision. Now going with the class is the Elizabethan age. Now coming is the age, Elizabethan age, one can guess that how one has got the name. It is because of the Queen Elizabeth, the ruling monarchy. She was a Queen Elizabeth first, and the one who died recently was the Queen Elizabeth II. Her name was Lilibet, but later on it was changed into the Memorins of Queen Elizabeth. So the age starts with 1550 and it ends with the monarchy ending in 1600. It's not the vanishment of monarchy, but because Queen Elizabeth died and she had no heir, she remember that she was unmarried. She remained unmarried whole the time, and that's the reason why later on it was her brother called James. He was the cousin of Queen Elizabeth, and he was James, and later on came in the monarchy and gained the age called Jacobean age, which we will deal after Elizabethan age. Now, it is Elizabethan age is considered as a glorious age of literature itself. Why? Because it has given the two basic genre of the literature, that is drama and the sonnet. Why drama and the sonnet? Because it is very necessary to go with the drama which is still available in current scenario, and then why drama is also available till date, it is because of the writers like Christopher Marlowe, John Lyly, Robert Greene, Thomas Nash, and William Shakespeare. Now, university wits is another thing which we'll look upon. University wits writers like John Lyly, who is considered as one of the important, and then we have Christopher Marlowe. Marlowe is again one of the important writer who has given us one of the phases where we will get the history, we will also get the things related to him in Dr. Faustus. A lot of people consider that Dr. Faustus, a lot of people in the sense that a lot of critics consider that Dr. Faustus is really a great example of a whole drama where we are getting chorus, where we are getting a little bit of Greek vibe. Then comes the writers like Greene. Greene is again one of the greatest writers we have presented in the history of English literature, and that's the reason why Shakespeare himself was very influenced and with his work called Pondosto. Pondosto is a work which we will find in one of the work of Shakespeare, where he has a little bit twisted the plot, but everything was almost the same. Then comes the Shakespeare himself. Shakespeare has written 37 plays, which was later on concluded into other, later on like classified into other important things, like for example, we will go with his tragedies. Then we have Hamlet, tragedies like Hamlet, and then we have tragedies like Othello. And coming to the comedies, then we have comedies like Tempest, and we have also the thing which is mixed with the comedy and which is mixed with the tragedy, and it has everything. For example, if we'll go with a writing of one of the Shakespeare famous work, and that is called Twelfth Night. A Twelfth Night is a comedy. However, we can see a bit of disguise here and a bit of everything which is present in it. So Shakespeare was the one who is considered to be as the mixture of many genres. Coming back to the statement which was given by the Milton, that this age itself is a noble and puissant nation, rousing himself like a strong man after sleep and shaking her invincible log. So it's a noble, definitely England was considered as a noble nation at that time, the whole Great Britain, and that this age itself roused himself like a strong man who came after a sleep and has shaken the whole world out of it. Coming again is the another characteristic, which is religious tolerance. We have seen that how previous monarchy, like if we'll go with Queen Mary, then she was totally against the Protestants, then she was killing people, and a lot of brutality was going on. When it comes to Queen Elizabeth, when she got the monarchy, when she got the throne, then she decided, no, Catholic and Protestant will live together and we will accept each, whether one accept Catholic, whether one accept Protestant, whether one accept anything, we will accept every people, every kind of kindness, no brutality would be there. So religious toleration was definitely there. People were having some kind of problem with Elizabeth herself, but later on it all got vanished because of the social containment. Now, what is social containment? Trades increased. Why? Because people made it was a beginning of colonization, definitely, where people were exploring the world, discovering the new land, and then literature was becoming heavenly, and that's the reason why opportunities for the actors in theaters and drama came, opportunities for the writers came, and that's the reason why Shakespeare himself became one of the kinsmen. And then it has also become a standard of living. Like theater was not made at first. Theater was not made for the common people. It was just the monarch and the one who is sitting in the parliament can only afford going to the theater. But later on, it was now open for everyone. Even the normal people can go to the theaters. Coming is the and that's how we link it to the drama. We're building and opening general public as well, and new genres like ideas and characters, writing writers like Shakespeare, Marlowe. Shakespeare is the first one who has indulged tragedy with the comedy, romance with the comedy, and here comedy is a happy ending. Like the whole story is a tragedy, but at the same time characters are getting happy ending. So that's it for the today in the Elizabethan age. Thank you.